the Nice Guys on Business podcast. The sportos, the motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebs, dickheads. They think they're righteous dudes. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
And we don't know what the over-under is going to be on the number of topics we talk about. I want to hit a lot. I want to try and get to a lot because we miss them, right?
Yeah. Okay. There are a couple more that aren't on here that I want to talk about.
Come on. You do this every goddamn time, Doug, man. Look, hey, welcome back, by the way.
Start
ladies
the show.
And gentlemen, my name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler. Apparently, we have started the podcast because that's our new thing, I think. We just start talking and the record button happened to go and it's like, yeah, we'll start the podcast. Okay, what the heck?
Well, because your editing is so spot on, it's really important.
You're too kind. So, yes, we have a lot of topics to get to. And now Doug is telling me that all the ones that I listed at the end of our show yesterday, no, we have more than that.
I just wanted to start here. I wanted to start here because I think it's important that we thank the Nice Guy community for the amazing stuff that they've done for us. Last month, the month of September, we exceeded 35,000 downloads. That is 5,000 downloads, nearly 5,000 downloads more than the month of August, which was basically 18,000 more than the month before. So
it's like double, almost double.
Almost double, and we did not double the amount of episodes that we recorded, although we did stick a little bit more to the five episodes a week. But if you go back to the Nice Guy community and you look at the chart, in February of 2015, which was our first month, we got 900. 12 months later, 900
whole month.
12 months later, in February of 16, we were only at 5,000. So between February of 16 and September of 16, we went from 5,000 to 35,000. Heck yeah. I mean,
it's all about you guys. It's all about Overcast. It could be all about iTunes. If you guys would subscribe on iTunes too, we'd really appreciate it. But, do whatever you can. NiceShortcut.com is the Facebook link if you have not signed up for our Facebook community. And we'd really love it if you signed up for iTunes as well, even though we know you all listen on Stitcher. Overcast, not Stitcher.
Okay. Also, what else did I want to talk to them about? I wanted to make sure that they were aware of the Be More Biz conference that's going on, and messed the date right here. I just got to make sure I got it in front of me. There it is, November 7th through the 9th. If you click on the link in the show notes, it will give you more information. As of the end of this week, it is Thursday now. As of tomorrow, by tomorrow, Strick and I will commit to the place, to the location. We'll have the speakers lined up, and we will have the exact number of entry of openings that we still have left.
And we're gonna have the price as well. But Doug, I'm going to give you a little preview.
Okay, go ahead.
You and I are going to talk more details, but it is going to be under $300.
Under $300?
Under $300. And that's going to include basically 2 full days of mastermind. It's going to include your meals, like lunch both days, and snacks, and a dinner with us, and a cocktails the night before.
Did you get like a deep pocket sponsor for this?
I'm working on it. I want to keep the price down because this first one, if you guys have not been listening, we're not planning on making any money on this, right?
No, I don't want to make any money.
But we just want to do this. And so we want to keep
those
the
words
price
just
down.
come out of my mouth. I said, what? No, I don't want to make any money. All we've been talking about is how we can't get advertisers to give us money.
Right. And now here we are saying we don't want to make any money.
Yeah, whatever. It's fine.
No,
I have other sources of income. It's fine.
We want to get this group together, but again, it is limited to only 10 people because we want an intimate group. I think we've got 2 and possibly 3 of the slots sold already. So really we're down to like 7 or 8.
No. Can I tell you, we might have to bump up that number of how many we can include.
Well, let's see what kind of interest we get. I'd like to keep it at 10, but we might be able to squeeze 1 or 2 more.
The problem is that I know that we already have 5 people that have committed to it. So we can't just, we're only talking out the 5 people that are going to come to the conference.
Do you have 5 checks yet?
No, I don't have 5
Okay,
checks,
so
but
we
they
don't
all
have
know
5 people committed yet.
Okay. All right. Nice guy community. We're going to limit it to 3. Okay. 3 people can come to this thing, and me and Strick are 2 of them. So who wants to come with us?
No, I'm thinking 10 plus you, me, and Anna.
Oh, okay. That'll work. Oh, Anna's going to be there too. Did Anna commit? Is she available to come?
I
yet.
think I haven't gotten the yes yet from her, but
anyway,
think so.
We'll move on from this topic. The conference, Be More Biz conference, November 7th to the 9th. It is going to be right here in Baltimore. It is safe. I promise it's a safe city. Mm-hmm. Click on the link. It will not have all of the information as of the date that you're seeing this, but if you just click, I want more information, we will know that you have interest in at least exploring the opportunity. No commitments yet. Okay. We can't commit to you. You can't commit to us. Right. We're not sure we want you. We're gonna see who else wants to come.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay, are we gonna get to some of these topics now?
Yeah. Let's.
Was there one in particular you wanted to start with?
Let's see. I did want to talk about the day that I had last week in my interview day. I had Jennifer Hecht, who runs a company called the Dating Advisory Board. Mm-hmm. It's a future interview. I think it's going to be in November. We just recorded it yesterday. What's so cool about these interviews that I've been doing? When people call me now, or text me, or email me, or fax me, or however they're getting to me, we can't get them on the show for like 6 to 8 weeks because we're backlogged.
It's crazy, right?
That's the best thing ever. We have so many people that are sending us potential guests that we can actually be particular about who's coming on the show.
We are so in demand.
Geez. So Jennifer Hecht came on the show with the Dating Advisory Board, gave a whole bunch of great information about relationships, relationship building, talked about the dating scene, talked about how the dating scene relates to the business world. That was my morning interview. Right after her, Dr. Sandra, I think you say her name, Lamorghese.
Okay.
She's a business coach and New York City dominatrix.
Okay, then.
It's so interesting. At the end of the entire interview was just so fun. We had so many laughs, and that one's coming up again beginning of November, also when Jennifer's interview is coming too. But finally got some honest answers out of what's the last text message you sent or received.
Oh wow! And Sandra gave you a real answer, huh?
What is the last picture that you had?
Ooh, that would be dangerous.
So she gave us some great information. You will think it is such a hoot. I can't wait for that interview to air. It was just such a great interview, and so was Jennifer's too. We've had just a ton of. I keep saying, I know I use the word ton a lot. We've had so many amazing interviews. Such a wonderful roster of guests that have come on the show. One of the guests that I am really working hard at. Speaking of Dating Advisory Board and dominatrix, one of the guests that I'm working really hard to get is Sister Simone.
And who is Sister Simone?
How about that transition right there? Sister Simone is she's the nun on a bus. If you have no idea who the nun on a bus is, click on the cover art. Right behind the cover art, we were going to put a link. I attended a conference in Baltimore City maybe 2 weeks ago as of the airing of this show. And Sister Simone talks about these 4 virtues that anybody have, regardless of your station in life and your political or your religious beliefs. And they were great. I mean, they were like exercise joy, exercise curiosity, exercise gossip, and do your part because you're a part of a team. And just to hear her message, it made me really feel good just about the world in general. Even there is so much crap going on in this world. You heard about the horrible the horrible train accident in Hoboken. Did you know anything about that? Yeah, but people were, I think one person died and there were many, many people that were injured in this. And, you talk about all these horrible things that go on in the world. And I'm not comparing at all the train wreck that happened in Hoboken with the train wreck that's going on with our political system today.
Or the train wreck of this episode right now.
Or the train wreck of this episode. But I think actually
we're pretty good right now.
We're doing okay.
This is a very un-train wreckish episode.
Yeah. Well, you told me I need to stay on task.
Stay on focus, man. Hey, I called us out, with I listed all the topics we wanted to hit. And so now we're obligated to it.
Well, I actually bet on us. So
you bet the over. Okay. So it's time to roll.
There is just so much foul going on in this world. I wanted to try, I always look Yeah, I met with a friend that we have in common today, Robert. And one of the things that Robert had mentioned to me, he says, Doug, I mean, you go into a room full of shit and you say, where's the pony? And I'm like, well, with all the shit in here, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere, right? That's my feeling. And I feel that way about life. There is just so much crap that goes on everywhere. This first virtue that Sister Simone talks about is exercise joy, even in the misery that you may be dealing with. If you work in a cancer ward at a hospital, or if you work in a health suite somewhere where there's just people that are sick, or you're a CDC research scientist. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of crap that's going on in the world. But people, if you want things to happen, you need to be joyful about the things that you're doing. Yes, you see a whole bunch of misery that's going on around you. And I agree, the political system is a complete mess. And I can't believe that this is the best thing that we could possibly bring to the forefront are these two candidates. I'm like, what the hell is that all about? America can't do any better than that. But we got to see the humor in that. I mean, you've got to see the humor in the situation that's going on.
Well, but you know what else I like? I think that, I think Britain has like a 6-party system, right? Or something like that. And look, how do you make change, right? You make change because you have to. And like, how many times have we talked about like the only way you turn around is when you hit bottom, right? Maybe we're close to hitting bottom.
Okay.
And maybe so, like, in my opinion, right? I hate our 2-party system. Not to get like all political and totally off the subject and shit already, but like it's when you look at votes in Congress, it's by party lines, right? And I'm sorry, everything that comes up for a vote in government is not black and white, Democrat and Republican. But the reason that most of these votes are along party lines is because if you're a Democrat, you got to support the Democrats. And if you're a Republican, you got to support the Republicans. That's bullshit. We need more than just 2 opinions.
Don't you think this would probably be all hell in a handbasket if the government was actually run this way. But why can't we just let's say that we give 2 years to each party. They have the ability to make the decisions for 2 years. Anything that you say, do it just for 2 years.
No, well, you see, I don't like that. I just think we need more than 2 opinions, because 2 sides basically means black and white, and there's a winner and a loser, right?
Okay.
So what if, again, I'm talking out of my ass with Britain. I know we have a lot of UK listeners, and I would love to get some education on this, but I think they have 6 political parties in Britain, right? So there's no, hey, you're the winner, you're the loser. There's, hey, this party came up a little bit ahead of the others. But, everything, especially in politics, it's not black and white. There are 5 or 6 different opinions and ways to go. And we have totally whittled it down in the States to fucking black and white. It's Democrat or it's Republican.
Do you know that they passed a law in Maryland that approved the planting of cannabis in the state of Maryland?
Really?
Yeah.
For
I actually
what?
For what? I think, I don't know. I think it's to have, I don't know. I don't want to.
Hang on. So, because we have it, I think in Maryland, it's legalized for medicinal or.
Now we have the ability to plant crops and sell the crops. I don't know if that means to plant crops and sell them within the state of Maryland.
Okay.
Or at certain, like depots or whatever you call the centers.
It is so interesting the difference between legally being able to grow it versus being able to sell it. Like Lynchburg, Tennessee, right? Lynchburg where they make Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
It's a dry county.
Right.
So they can't drink Jack Daniels in Lynchburg, Tennessee, which is really fucking stupid. But
they can't. It was a great tour of the factory, though.
I know you told me about that. It's really cool. So apparently we can grow marijuana in Maryland. I'm guessing you have to have a permit or something.
Yeah. Well, so the reason I found out that we even have the ability to grow marijuana is because the guy, I won't mention his name because I'm not sure how much publicity that he wants from me or from anybody, but he is a friend of mine from my synagogue, and he was given and again, I'm not saying the right words or have the right terminology, but he was given the permission to be in charge of I think something like the 10 farms that were granted the right to plant cannabis. So
okay, what do you mean he's in charge of them? In other words, he's not a farmer.
He is definitely not a farmer.
He's going to regulate them, or he's passing out the permission slips, basically.
I think that he gets to regulate the crops, and he has some level of ownership in the fields, or some. I don't 100% know.
So it's going to be Jewish marijuana then.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of Jewish marijuana. So first of all, I did not even realize the guy was a stoner because he was so excited when he called me. Mm-hmm. The reason that he called me was because he wanted to have a wedding. So I said, "Who's getting married?" He says, "Well, I don't really want to have a wedding, but I want to celebrate like I'm having a wedding because we've been given the right to plant cannabis." I'm like, "I didn't even know you like pot." And he goes, "Oh my God, through college, just totally into it the whole time," is what he was saying to me. So then I ran into his daughter the other day, and she's like, "My dad, he's such a freak." It was really funny. So I don't even remember why we got into that, but other than saying that, yeah, speaking of state regulation and some craziness thing, the guy's going to become a gazillionaire because he was granted the rights to plant crops and weed in here.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Well, it's funny too because you don't necessarily have to be. I mean, he obviously does happen to be, so it works out that he's a big stoner. He likes pot, whatever. Like I'm not. I don't get high. I don't like it. It's just not my thing, right? I have nothing morally against it. But when you talk about like the legalization of marijuana, oh my God, I am 100% for it. And it's not because I want to smoke. It's because it's just fucking stupid. I mean, you got guys spending years in jail because like they've got an ounce.
What happens? So what happens when they make it legal in Maryland? Do they take the guys that are in jail and pull them out because now it's no longer illegal?
You see, that's a really good question there.
But to me,
I mean, it's like, forget spending money trying to keep it out of the country. All right. That's just not going to happen. Let's legally bring it in. Let's tax it and make some money on it.
Yeah. I like this plan. However, very similar to the casino system in the state of Maryland, which, they have table games now in addition to slots and some others. And we have a few casinos in Maryland. They say, look how good this is going to do the school system. We're going to funnel money back into the city. Have you seen the shape of the Baltimore City school system?
Well, what's interesting? I'd be very curious to see because we've had Maryland Live and Maryland Live, I think, has been here for 3 years, maybe, and the Horseshoe has been open for about a year. Oh, and the MGM at National is getting ready to open, and I drove by that. That's going to be huge, right?
Ridiculously big.
I'm very curious to see the dollars because what was interesting? Did you ever go to Atlantic City?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I haven't been in years, but when you would go to Atlantic City, for those of you who don't know, Atlantic City is like beach town, right? And there's a boardwalk there. Well, there are casinos, obviously it's, gambling is legal in Atlantic City and there are a bunch of casinos, right? But if you go, there may be, 8-10 casinos, right? And most of them are right on the boardwalk.
Yeah, but you go a block away from that.
Right. Literally, if you walk a block away from any of the casinos, it is ghetto.
Yeah,
the entire city is just scary. Yeah. You think to yourself, where is all this money going?
So that begs the question, where is the money going? The casinos that you would begin to see, I haven't seen any change. I haven't, and I'm in the school systems with a program that I have, and I have not seen any change.
Yeah, but I'm still curious to see the budget and see how much money is coming in and see where it's going.
I want to see who is getting rich as a result of it. And if you follow the money trail, I think you're going to find that the guys that own the casino and the corporations that own the casino are making the big bucks, and they're giving maybe a portion to the school system or somewhere. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Well, the way it works is it just gets taxed, right? So it's not like the casinos are donating to the schools. The money goes into the state pool and then the state decides where it goes. Now, obviously, I'm sure when the state was pushing to get casino gambling legalized, the argument was, all this money for the school. Well, now that they've got the cash, is it really going to the schools? I have no idea.
I don't know, but I'd be very interested to find out. But there is something I'm pretty pissed about.
What's that?
I got a notice in the mail the other day. My Harley got recalled.
For what?
The clutch. It says the clutch. It could slip into gear when it's in neutral.
Okay.
You could be thrown from your bike, or worse, you could be killed. So I'm like, so I got my Harley sitting in the garage right now, and I'm like, I want to ride it. And my wife is saying, you really should take that to the dealership. And it's not like the dealership is right around the corner. It's about a 30-mile ride to get to the dealership. And then she would have to follow me. In between, I was looking at my schedule for the past couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
This week, 4 interviews, 2 published, 2 more published interviews, 1 keynote, 1 webinar.
Mm-hmm.
Who's got time for that?
Okay.
Anyway, so I was just a little bit, I was a little bit upset. You spend all this money to get a really nice motorcycle and now it's sitting in the garage under the cover.
So what you're saying is you have no problem going out onto the street in your 2-wheel bike, completely exposed to the elements and to all the idiot car drivers that are paying no attention and don't see you and could run you over in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But you're not going to go out because the clutch might maybe possibly slip and drop into gear while you're sitting at a light.
It said pretty much immediately return it to the dealership. Now, I don't know if that's a scare. I'm trying to find the wording. I'm trying to find it.
Okay. How long have you had this bike?
I've had it since March.
And how many times has this happened?
It's never happened to me.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying you shouldn't take it in. All right. But I am saying
I'll be dead on the street and you'll be with a smile on my face.
Right. You totally should take it into the dealership and get it fixed. But like if it happened to be an amazingly beautiful day and you're like, God, I'd love to ride, but I'm worried about that clutch.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how dangerous a motorcycle is already?
Yeah, it's probably pretty dangerous, but it's never my fault for the danger. It's always the other guy that's going to run my ass over. I'm always afraid of that guy.
Yeah, so you're less afraid of that other guy than you are of a clutch maybe possibly slipping.
Yeah, but when your wife tells you to do something, you really should do it.
Oh, well, that's okay. She's got the trump card. That changes everything then. Okay.
That should change everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, for sure. So this week also, I had a chance to go to, my new friend, Jeffrey Hazlett, I keep name dropping him.
All right.
I'm a part of this C-suite network, which is actually turning out to be a pretty cool investment in my career. Mm-hmm. And I did not realize that along for the ride, as a part of being in the C-suite network, I actually got to become friends with Jeffrey. So Jeffrey, he came into town. He was in DC, and he called me, and we're working on a potential project together. Details to be mentioned at a later date. But as I'm watching him, because he invited me to watch him do a keynote, and then we were going to go out and grab something to eat. So I'm watching him do his keynote. I discovered exactly why this guy is in the National Speakers Association Hall of Fame. Ridiculous how much passion that he delivers as a part of his job. I mean, he's up on stage and he's telling these stories, and at the end of the keynote, I mean, the guy is just completely drenched. He's excited about by the way, he had 2 5-hour energies right before he went on stage.
What? Are you kidding? Did he really?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, he likes those things. I'm like, I've never even tasted one of those, but it's fine. He was vying for, he was trying to get some espresso before he went on, not before the stage, but just to have. And he couldn't. The restaurant wasn't serving any coffee, but so I think they suggested that he goes into the gift shop for some 5-hour energy. Anyway, so he should actually get a sponsorship from 5-hour energy. I think he enjoys the stuff. Mm. But when he got up on stage, he was all over the stage, and he was just so passionate about his message, and it was great. I mean, it was really just a pleasure. A guy like a total artist up on the stage, and I just kept thinking as he was doing it, can I ever be that good? I love doing this, and I love being a keynote speaker, and maybe the fact that he's a couple of years older than me, so he's been in the workforce a little bit longer, and he's had some pretty high prestigious jobs. Maybe that's all plays into it. And then I thought, no, because I could have just as much passion as that. It's just a matter of trying to amp it up when you get on stage. It's a fun thing to think about, and it's a fun thing to do. And I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. He's definitely a guy that is worth following and worth seeing more of. So if you haven't had a chance to check out any of his stuff on Facebook or on Twitter, look how many Twitter followers. I think he's got something like 350,000 Twitter followers.
Well, I want to go look him up on YouTube now. I want to actually see him in action. I mean, I've seen pictures of him, and obviously I've seen his website and that kind of thing, but I've never seen him in action. Yeah. I got to check it out.
Yeah, maybe if we can, we should put a YouTube link in the show notes so that people can see the passion that he delivers. And the crowd, they were a fun crowd, but this was like the end of the conference. He was the closing keynote, and he And he knew it was going to be a little bit of a challenging crowd because, the end of a 2-day conference, it's
you're
not
wiped out. Right?
You are completely wiped out and people just want to get out of there. Regardless, at the end, everybody had a book in their hand and he got bombarded. Everybody wanted their book signed.
I love it. So Doug, you mentioned not having the kind of intensity and passion that he has when you do your presentation. And I've seen your presentation. I would not say that you suck at it. Sure, maybe you could use more passion and intensity, but Doug, what do you think you do suck at?
Oh, geez. You know what? I think that I try to do too much.
Yeah.
For me, I think the thing that is very challenging for me is I think I take on too much responsibility and I don't delegate enough. And it leads to not projects that aren't finished, because I do like to finish everything, but I think it leads to things that aren't quite as polished as I would like them to be. Things like a landing page, not exactly the way that I want it to be, a sales funnel that's not quite as good as I want it to be, an online program that I think could be just a teeny bit better to attract more people to come to it, a book that maybe should be a hardback instead of a paperback. I mean, and those are just 4 or 5 things that I'm just reeling off because those are the ones that come to the forefront of my mind, thinking if I stopped saying yes to everything that comes in my path. One of the things that was really cool about, we recently started using Acuity scheduling as a part of the podcast interview process.
Yep.
And I'm amazed at how much it takes off your plate when you don't have to go back and forth with somebody to say, when do you want to schedule this? All you do is you send them a link. And initially I thought, well, I'm going to be giving up control of my schedule. Because do you feel comfortable just having somebody pick a date on a schedule that you need them to get together with you? Do you want them in control or do you not care? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, Doug, I'm sure that when they go to the calendar to pick a date and a time, it's only dates and times that you've already approved, right?
Right. But even so, I still wanted to be, for some crazy screwed up reason, I wanted to be in charge of that. Why?
It is all about finding the balance. Like, for example, everything that you just mentioned where you're like, you know what? I want the landing page to look a little better. I want this to be a hardback versus a paperback, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You and I are a great dichotomy, I think, because I am a very practical guy. Everything that I do, I try to look at with a sense of cost versus benefit, right? And so let's say that you put 3 hours into a landing page, right? And it looks good. And you're looking at it thinking, you know what? It could look a little better. I would look at that and go, okay, let's stop and think. How long will it take? What's the resources it's going to take to make it look a little better?
Well,
let's say it takes another 3 hours. Then I stop and think, okay, is it worth the 3 hours that I will have to put into it?
Just so you know, so I do put it out there though. So I put the landing page out there, not as polished as I would like it to be. And I put the book out in paperback instead of hardback because, it's good enough. And all of those things that I just said, like I said to you before, I don't think I don't finish projects. I definitely am a completer. I'm not a half-assed, I'm full-assed into everything. We talk about this. I think part of what holds me back from that success, that next level of success, and something I know I need to talk to. We just recently had somebody on the show. Crap, I forget her name. Stacy Brown. I think I'm wrecking her name. I'm sorry, Stacy, or I'm sorry, Miss Brown. Stacy Randall Brown, I think is her name. Anyway, it's a future episode. That was very cool. By the time I'm finished with this episode, I'm thinking, this is why I need a business coach, because I need that level of accountability to somebody that is telling me, just kind of like when Rob Jollis helped me write my the outline for my book. He was a guy that was there, that every time I needed some help, he was right there, and I could say, hey, I did this, but can you help me with that? And he would hold me accountable. If I didn't have those 10 pages finished every week, then for 20 weeks, I had 10 pages done every week because I needed a 200-page book by the time, we were ready to publish.
So there are two things. There's that one side, which is the accountability. And I totally agree, Doug. You got to be accountable. You got to set deadlines or you're just not going to do stuff. But talking about business coaching, one of the things that Laura Cannon brought up to me when we did our business coaching session, we've got another one scheduled, not for next week because she's going to be in Vegas, but the week after that. And in our first business session, one of the things she said to me was, I hear you saying should a lot. Like, I know I should be doing this or I should have done that. Uh-huh. And that's what made me think about that when you said, hey, it should be a hardback or it should be a little bit better. And again, everybody needs different advice. But what she was feeling from me, which I agree with, was when I said the word should, basically I was beating myself up. Yeah, in other words, I would say to myself, I should have done this. And what I'm really saying to myself is I failed, right? Or I didn't do as well as I should have. Yeah. Right? You see, should, there's the word should again, right? As well as I wanted to. And her advice to me, and I really think it's been good. It's been kind of in the back of my mind a lot was forget should. Okay. It's either do it or don't do it. Right. And so, Doug, if you feel like at the point where you're going to publish your book, if you feel like, what, this should be a hardback, make the decision to do whatever it needs to do to be a hardback. But if ultimately you say, no, I'm okay with a paperback, don't go back later and say, what? Should have. Yeah. Should have. I just let it go because you're beating yourself up.
No, I know that. And I think that I go through a lot of the decisions that I go through in my life and I do rethink after the decision's already made. And I really should just make, there's a should word. I should not think back and say, man, I wish I did this any differently. And it's very challenging. There are things that hold me back. I know that. And I know that part of this, getting to this reinvention of my career, part of that has been, hey, I don't want to say I should have done this with my life. I should have done this any differently. I really want to do this next part in my life because even though there has not been a lot of financial reward to date, I think that there are so many other things about success other than just the financial side. Some people might disagree with that. Some people measure success by dollars only. I'm not one of those guys, which is why, it'd be great to be able to make bigger capital in this, but I'm making money at it and I'm enjoying it and I'm paying my bills and, we will get there. It's just a matter of time. I just have to stay the course. I think that, and it's the same way I feel about the podcast. I'm not so worried about advertisers and then I'm not so worried about, I love the download count because that to me is just like an automatic,
it's a reinforcement that people are enjoying what we do.
Yeah.
That they're either appreciating the business advice or they're at least being entertained, if nothing else. and I don't care. Either way is good by me.
And I feel the same way, Strick. I feel the same way. We are able to, this entire relationship that we have has been able to develop directly through this podcast. And what's so great about it is you and I were best friends before this all got started. And I know so much more about you over the last, and I've known you for 16, 17 years, something like that. But the last last year and, 8 months or whatever it's been, have been the best for me because I've gotten to know all the inner workings of how your brain works.
I know, it's crazy.
It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. How many subjects are we down? How many do we have to go?
We've got a lot of them down now. We're 32 minutes in, but I want to know what the static 5 is.
Oh no. Okay. Part of when we started this podcast to begin with, one of the things that I had set as a goal for myself was I don't want to be the show that asks the same 10 questions and gets the same 10 answers from the same, from each guest that comes on the show.
Right. We don't want to be what's his name? Fire Nation, John Lee Dumas.
Okay.
I mean, and again, we can dig on John Lee Dumas because he doesn't give a shit about us. He's laughing all the way to the bank. But I personally think it's like the same shit over and over again.
But it's successful stuff
for him. But that's not what I want to do.
Right. So it wasn't our thing. And so I really deliberated very much about having 5 static questions as a part of each of the interviews. Mm-hmm. And then I started putting in that question about the cell phone and the text message thing. Do you have an iPhone or something inferior? The most feedback that I get, whether it's through Twitter or through email or when people respond or talk, everybody notes that one static question that I asked. So it got me thinking, maybe there was a way to present 5 static questions that would be the same questions that I would ask to each guest, but make it fun, make it interesting, and keep it. I think if you throw in humor, I think that you can almost do anything.
Oh, sure.
So the 5 static questions that I ask, and I just wrote them below. It's, be relatable. What do you suck at? Be transparent. How do you pay your bills when you first started going at this business? Be confident. What do you do as an entrepreneur that's as good as it gets? Be humble. What experts do you need to call upon to make shit happen? And be realistic. Where are you going to be in 90 days? And those questions I've gotten over the last half a dozen interviews that I've done, which are to be aired because none of them have aired yet. The answers it's really amazing. It's almost like you can start to do your own survey and your own study about these most of the people that come on our show, all of the people that come on the show, with the exception of you and me, are successful. So it's like, okay, this is really cool. And I've enjoyed asking those 5 questions. So I wanted to talk to not just you, but the Nice Guy community about, what do you think about these 5 questions? Are you okay as an interviewer? Because you do some interviews too. Are you okay with these 5 questions? Would you be asking them? And are you cool with it?
No, pretty cool, actually, looking at it. And I have not heard any of the interviews that you've done already where you do ask these 5 questions.
Right.
But it is definitely very interesting. And it's not the stock, crap that everybody asks. It is interesting. I like it.
And I put in one more little instruction to the guests, and I'd say to them, you only have 20 seconds to answer each question.
You see, and that's good too, because you're right. If your static questions are exactly the same for a 30-minute interview, then yeah. But if you just say, okay, this is like the speed round.
It's like
right. If this is the speed round and you ask those 5 and there's a 20-second countdown for each one, or a 10-second, that'd be cool. I like it. Let's give it a shot.
So I have been doing it. Like I said, I think I've done it for the last, I want to say 5, maybe 6 interviews that I've done. And it's now a part of the questionnaire that not that I send out. I don't prep the guests for these questions either. I just I tell them at the beginning of the interview, hey, at the end of the interview, we're going to do these 5 questions. I'm not telling you what they are, but just so you're aware, you're going to have 20 seconds to answer each one. I'll give you the instructions right before I give it to you, but I didn't want you to be surprised if we do it. And every one of them has said, oh, that sounds kind of cool. I'll do that. Mm-hmm. And then I get to the personal stuff, which is, do you have an iPhone or something inferior? So everybody seems to like that one. Anyway, I think we're good. I think we've kind of run to the end of our subjects. I know that we didn't cover all of them, but man, I think we covered more subjects in this episode than we have probably in the last 10 others combined. Especially as a percentage of the numbers that you list going in, we hit a really good percentage. Yeah, no, I think we did good. Any plans for the upcoming weekend for you? What are my plans every weekend? I'm playing a wedding. Yeah, that's true. I think I actually have, October is one of my, I don't do a lot of weddings a year, but I think I have 3 weddings that I'm actually DJing in the month of October, which is totally unusual. Yeah, that's crazy for you. No, I love it. All right. So, should we wrap up? Yeah, I'm loving it. I think we got a good show. We didn't even go too long. And, Nice Guy community, we would love it if you would use the Amazon link on our show notes. We really need some help and support on the show. It's little dribs and drabs and just a couple of pennies. It does not change your Amazon experience whatsoever, but click on the Amazon link before you shop. We get a little commission. It lets it lets us know that you love us and that it lets Amazon know that you heard about them through us, right? Maybe you didn't know what Amazon was before and you just heard about it from us, right? Right. But hey, still. maybe we do a Patreon link instead. It could be interesting. Like where we're begging for money? Yeah. I mean, there's other begging anyway already. Yeah, right? That's true. Let's beg and not get results. That way we could beg and instead of getting 4%, we could get 100%. And then that's very true. Very true. We're going to have to think about that. We'll have to think about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that offline. That's good. All right. Nice Guy community. Never underestimate the power of nice. Good talking to you again, Strickland. Always good talking to you, Doug. Stay tuned for our guest. Who is our guest tomorrow? What the heck is tomorrow? Our guest tomorrow is Ben Stroop. Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. Did we interview him? You interviewed him. All right. Well, I'm sure he was great. I know he was great. I just can't remember. I hope he's not a listener. No, I don't. I think he actually is a listener to the show. I think that's how we met. Oh boy, sorry, Ben. I'm really sorry,
Ben.
As of the interview tomorrow, you will be my best friend. And it's true. I love all of the guests that come on the show. I just can't remember any of them. I will. Yeah. I promise. I'll get better. Okay. All right, Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Do you think they could have rambled on any longer today? Blah, bitty, blah, bitty, blah, bitty, blah.